quite like it once was. Well,
No.
of course, WHAS-11 has a long history covering the Derby. Connie Leonard here now, highlighting a man who has decades of experience reporting on the Derby.
And in the infield.
Yeah, absolutely. Vance we're talking about, because Doug, you said it, we can't go back and look at all the iconic folks from HAS if we don't talk to Vance, right? And he actually, you all, we're right here by the Derby Museum, and he told me he was here a few weeks ago, and he was like, have you been there? It is great. He's like their biggest fan.
Oh.
And he said all the volunteers were so nice to him, and he's like, they actually wanted me to take a picture with him. I'm like, you're Vance. You're Double V.
Double V.
Here's a look back. 150th Derby. You're smiling?
Yeah.
Can you believe it?
No, I can't.
Derby 150. It's surreal for legendary Louisville sportscaster Vance. That's because at 90 years young, Double V, as he's known, covered the Kentucky Derby for WHAS Radio and TV beginning in 1958. Decades of coverage included the 100th Derby in 1974 when jockey Angel Cordero Jr. and trainer Woody Stevens hooked up with Cannonade for the Roses.
Cannonade, the winner.
Does 100 seem like it's been 100 years?
Yeah, it seems a long time ago.
The voice of the ABA's Kentucky Colonels and later the Louisville Cardinals was often courtside with greats like Louis Dampier and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and of course, beloved Cards coach Denny Crum. But Derby coverage was Vance's other passion.
We were in a pretty primary position at that time because you got to realize that WHAS Radio was first to cover the Derby before it became nationwide.
Yep, it was VIP for Double V. He had a spot on the podium with the Derby winners, something now reserved for national media. For Vance and his colleagues, like the great Kaywood Ledford, it was double duty Derby week, carrying two mics, reporting for both WHAS Radio and TV. He loved telling the stories of the contenders, their trainers, even their barn mascots like Pearl.
There is a rumor in this barn that Pearl butted Howard Cosell. Is that true?
Yes, I'm afraid that's true.
The walkover with the Derby horses and their connections right before the big race was his favorite thing, until it wasn't.
All of a sudden I feel an excruciating pain in my shoulder. That horse, that Derby horse, bit me in the shoulder while I'm doing a TV interview, and it was really painful, but it didn't break the skin. But I had a welt for about a week on my right shoulder here, and I decided then and there, I'm not going to put any of my money on this horse on Derby Day.
Still, he kept his cool live on the air. His favorite Derby?
1964 was the greatest stretch run, a great Derby that I saw. Northern Dancer beat Hill Rise. Hill Rise was coming on trying to catch Northern Dancer, but he never quite got there. Northern Dancer beat him by a neck. Northern Dancer broke the track record. He ran it in a flat 2 minutes.
But what about 1973 and the horse Vance calls the Muhammad Ali of racing? Big Red's ride happened during a Colonel's playoff game. He and Dan Issel caught Secretariat live on the radio. Did that kill you a little bit, though, even though you got to be with Dan Issel that day? You, of all the races, you've been right at Churchill Downs.
Yeah, right.
Secretariat, you were not there.
Yeah.
Can you believe it?
Yeah, can only be one place at one time, you know.
His only negative of Derby week, wall-to-wall coverage equaled exhaustion and falling asleep in his breakfast.
You know, somebody's shaking me. And I wake up and I look up at a security guard. He said, "Sir, we don't allow the backside help to sleep in the track kitchen."
Falling asleep at the track kitchen. I will tell you, I was over there the other day on Thursday. That's a good meal, friends. That is a good meal. I had the gravy bowl. Not that I needed it, but it was delicious. And by the way, I want you all to guess what his Derby pick is.
Fierceness.
I couldn't imagine with Van. It's going to be a surprise.
It works for Van. Forever Young, the Japanese horse. Does he not look forever young? He's 90.
He does. I've never seen him have so many nicknames. As you said, Double B, Van Lawn Vance, and my favorite, Smooth Talking Vance.
He's great. He's wonderful.